Hello everyone, Random595 here. Today I'll be doing something a little different. I'll be doing a beginner's guide to Rogue Fable. I'm probably going to go way too in depth, but let's just jump in and see how it goes. I will do this guide as a human ranger, as that's the class I have most experience with, and I also recommend it to new players as the best way to learn the game. Let's go. So starting the game, you can see a bunch of different things on the screen. First of all, we're in the upper dungeon, floor 1 out of 4 with the timer. Over here on the top right, you can see our HP. If that goes to 0, we lose the game. Down here, you can see general information about whatever you're hovering over. So we can see that we regen 1 HP per 10 turns, and it even tells us that we die if it reaches 0. For a ranger, MP isn't that important, but it is something you're going to care about a lot when you play mages. We have our food points. Food points last for 80 turns. Generally, you don't have to worry about these unless you rest way too much. When your food runs out, you start starving, and that's about it. And the most important thing up here, maybe apart from HP, is your speed points. Speed points work by pressing shift, and when you use a speed point, it doesn't take a turn. I guess I should say this is a turn-based game, so if you don't do anything, nothing happens. Alright, down here we can see our weapon, tells us our range. The number in brackets is the total. So damage is 4, but we got 6 damage because we have dex. Here is our ability, so we have power shot, which is quite good, it deals knockback. We'll see a lot about that later on. And we start with the food, which fully restores our hunger. I guess we can also go over this. So every character is pretty much the same. You have your 3 primary attributes. Strength increases your HP, your melee damage, and how much you can carry. Dex increases your speed points, your range damage, and your evasion. And Int increases your MP, your staff damage, and your magic power. Every class has a different set of talents they start with, which require different amounts of attribute points to unlock. And yeah, we can see pretty much all our stats. Protection is the only other one. You get that from equipment and some talents, and it reduces the damage you take from physical damage in a range from 0 to the protection that you have. And evasion is just straight up chance to avoid all damage, which is super powerful. Alright, another thing we should cover is that you can go to the controls. It's quite useful to change these controls to whatever you prefer. Important ones are go to stairs and go up and down stairs. I've set these to R and D as I find that's where I like to sit my hand with the fingers over the number keys to select talents. Explore is important. Auto explore, we'll use it a lot. I generally refer to that as just E, but auto explore. And for actions, spacebar. For resting, shift spacebar. And the very important ones are auto attacks. So one uses your melee attack and the other uses your range attack, and this one also automatically uses abilities, so you can say press 1 tab, and if an enemy was in range it would use power shot on that enemy. So that's where you change the controls. Select whatever you want, whatever works best for you. So with a ranger we have the short bow, which lets us deal damage at a range, so we always want to engage enemies from far away. Also want to use power shot on unaware or unstable enemies. Unstable. Alright. So you see this up here, this word unstable, that's the status effect that we have from being on this type of terrain. It also says over on the right here, finds cause unstable terrain, and unstable characters are always dealt critical hits. This applies to both yourself and enemies, with one variable being player or character size. Any medium or small enemies will be unstable on this type of terrain, but large enemies won't. You'll pick that up as you play the game. Just pick up these items. Okay. Just gonna power shot and then stay out of that. I'll talk more about how to deal with enemies in the future. Something else very important about terrain is the shrooms. They're everywhere. As you go down floors, they deal more damage. They're always relevant and they're super useful against enemies. I'm just using auto explore to move around the map. It's just the fastest way to explore. I'm going to use some speed points to gain some distance. Power shot to deal extra damage. Take them out. I guess we could talk about map generation here. Some maps are randomly generated and some are static floors. This is a static floor, so you actually know there's a food here and a whole bunch of other things about this map. One thing that you can tell is inside this door will be 4 rats, just like this. That's something you'll pick up as you play more. It isn't required to know, but you'll notice these kind of things. Just using our range, our knockback. That's how Ranger works. Okay, we've fully explored this floor. I highly recommend fully exploring at least the first 9 or so floors to get all the gear that you need to win the game. We'll now use these stairs. This floor. So this is, it's not so much a static floor, or at least we don't know if it's a static floor. It's not. But it is a type of floor which is the maze kind of floor, which I dislike as it takes longer to explore. What else? Just gonna kill these guys. So we leveled up. Every time you level up, you gain an attribute point, and every second level, you get a talent point. As a ranger, it's really simple. Put everything in dex. We want that range damage, those speed points, etc. So this is where you'll see how useful the shrooms are. The shrooms will make sure that they don't even get close to us. Use that terrain to limit damage. Something else you can see is if you hover over the enemy, it tells you a whole bunch of stats. The important ones are their size and what type of attacks they have. So you can see this guy deals melee damage and he summons that orb. His size is small, which means he's unstable on pretty much all types of terrain. Alright, let's explore this way first. I find if you just, you got a better bow, we'll equip that. With your potions, I highly recommend drinking all HP potions for the max HP. I find that's the best use, and saving these for when you need them. Alright, so these guys here are small, which means they're unstable on grass, whereas we are medium size, so we are not unstable on grass. It's just something to note. Save that for later. I like organizing my items in this way. Organize them however you like. This just helps me know all my scrolls are always here, food, wands, and throwing weapons. Just always in the same place. So these guys are going to summon orbs. Something to note about these orbs is they're slow. So this game has 3 main categories of speed. Slow can't move diagonally, normal can move diagonally, and fast get 2 moves per turn. So what you can do with slow enemies is you can just kite them diagonally and they can't catch up to you. Alright, that guy over there is a unique enemy. He's there should only be 1 of him per game. This one is a unique for the upper dungeon. As you can see, he summons rats. He's a little bit harder than normal enemies, so we'll come back and deal with him later. Wells are very useful. This one completely restores your hit points. We don't need to use it right now. Okay, so I want to engage this guy from over here. You'll see why soon. Just take that out and we'll run over here. So this guy, it's very important that you engage him in a corridor like this, because he has a summon rats ability, and if he summons them next to you, it becomes quite hard to deal with him. This way, the rats are behind him, he can't move, and you're free to just take him out, and it becomes quite an easy fight. Alright, as always, points in dex, and we get to choose which ability we want. I'm going to take Perfect Aim, which increases our range by 1. But with Ranger, you can pretty much take anything, and it's all good. Okay, let's go down the stairs. So this message here tells us that there is a timed door. They always take 100 turns, and you want to get there before they shut. Something else to note is on the 4th floor, there is a boss room for Upper Dungeon, and that happens to be right there, because that's a certain vault layer, and I just know it's a boss room. So something to be aware of is you want to be careful about the boss rooms. Okay, so we got to this in time, and we got 2 extra food. Very nice. shouldn't have done that. That's fine. So he cast Fireball, which is going to blow up here and damage everything that's on this grass. Or they can step right in front of it. It does about the same. What we're going to do now is retreat away and use this unstable terrain here. This causes unstable to deal extra damage to these guys. Take them all out. Something else we're doing is we're using the corner to limit what enemies can get to us, so it's only one at a time, saving us a lot of damage. So we're going to wait here, and we're going to step this way, because we want to keep him on the unstable, and Power Shot would have knocked him off. Oh, he ran away anyway. Yeah. Should probably be using these items here. This item is rather good, gives you lots of extra HP. Yeah. That's about it. At some stage I think we should talk about enemy AI, though it may be a little bit complicated. So this is a vault room, which is for the entrance to the next floor. This one here generally has 2 mosquitoes, which are quite strong. Okay, we pulled some of the mosquitoes. We're going to use these shrooms to help deal with them. Take him out. There will be one more mosquito in here. But one mosquito by itself, when you have knockback from Power Shot, is quite easy. If both of them get on top of you, you're going to have to use some consumables to survive. What was I talking about? Oh, we got another gate up there, so that's the first place we're going to head. We're not going to go too quickly, you don't want to die, but you do want to make it the first place you explore. And we get a free talent point. Take the only other talent we can take. Evasive gives more evasion. Pretty straightforward, quite a strong talent. What happened just there was a pit trap. Sometimes there's randomly completely invisible traps. There's no way to know where they are. And they either teleport you around the floor or drop you to the next floor. Something to note about them is if there's one on a floor, there's always 2. So if we got pit trapped once and we go back up, we could be pit trapped again. And if you get TP trapped once, you'll probably get TP trapped again. Okay. So we're just going to explore. Using our range, that's a lot of snakes, so if I haven't mentioned it already, the best thing you can do in pretty much every situation is run away. Kite backwards and let enemies stream into you as you take them down with your bow. Okay, so this is also a vault area. I was going to mention there's always going to be either 2 eels or 4 piranhas. Just knowing these things through experience will let you handle these areas much more easily. So there's 4 blink frogs there. We're going to use our speed points to kite backwards to stop them from hitting us while we deal damage, and we took almost no damage taking them out. Okay. So water is unstable terrain. It also makes you wet, which means you take more damage from electric attacks. Something else you can do is knock these guys onto land, and if they stay there, they take additional damage from being out of the water. Free talent point. You could take any of these talents. I generally only take the talent point, as I find it is more fun. I'm just going to hold that talent point, actually. Okay, so this hungry message appears when you're at 3 food points. It's fine, you can just ignore it. Inside this is most likely going to be a whole bunch of ants, and they are unstable in water. So the best way to take them out is to use the water. If that wasn't on water, it would have taken far more hits to kill them, and then they would have swarmed you. You wouldn't have died, but it would have taken some damage. That's right, enemy AI. So this is a turn-based game, which means whenever you encounter a situation, you can just stop and think about it, think for as long as you need. I play quite fast because I've played thousands of hours of this game, so I know everything that's going to happen pretty much. But when you're new, just take your time and think about what's going to happen. Enemies always take the most direct path to you. So when this guy wakes up, he's going to step here, and then he's going to try and attack us. In this case, it's not useful, but you can know exactly how they're going to move. If I move up this way, he's going to step here and then here. So you can manipulate where they move, which can be very useful when you want to move them into certain terrain. For instance, fire shrooms. These are glyph gates. Behind them will be a bunch of enemies. Don't open them unless you're prepared. I guess the only way to really find out what kind of stuff they could be is to practice by opening them. Okay, we're going to use our speed points to kite. Get them on the unstable terrain. So the reason we moved across here is so this way when they come across, they stay on the unstable and we get more turns of these critical attacks. And now here, we step across and we use the speed point and down, so when he steps here, we won't get burnt. And now there's only one left. Okay, we're going to take some damage here. And we're on unstable terrain, we don't like that. And these guys deal poison damage, which is one of the greatest sources of damage in the game. So I haven't played this perfectly. We're going to take some hits from these guys, remove the poison damage, and then step away. So we took the least damage we could in that situation. Alright. Two of them. Okay, and we're going to take a dex. And this is why we held the talent point from before, as now we can get multiple abilities from later on. That's something you can just experiment with yourself. So we are currently starving. As you can see, every 3 turns we take damage. It's perfectly fine to starve for a little while if you want. And eating food fully restores your food points, heals half your HP and MP, and yeah, we can carry on. Try and find some good situations to show how you can abuse the enemy AI. Alright. Something else to note is how this game handles what's it called, like vision or awareness. So this enemy is asleep and these ones are only triple question mark, which means they will notice us next turn. You can get a stealth stat, which we have none of, which will reduce the range at which they notice you. Something to know about sleeping or unaware enemies is they take critical hits from physical type damage, which bows and melee weapons are. So what we want to do is we want to crit this guy with while he's unaware, with a strong ability to try and kill him in 1 turn because he's really annoying. Okay, these guys noticed us and you'll see the sleeping guy will get woken up by them next turn. Use our speed points to kite. Get this guy on the unstable terrain that is water to deal extra damage and finish him off. That was a TP trap, so what we know about that is there's one more TP trap somewhere on this floor. Okay, this is a preset boss vault. The way you do this one is you let this guy poison, he casts Poison Cloud, and he casts it right in front of you, and then you run away. And generally, if there's no fire shrooms there, they all die. But what we can do is we can run away, as always, the strongest tactic in the game, and you'll see something interesting happen. There are only 2 enemies left following us. Where did all the rest go? All the rest spread out and forgot about us. This is why running away is the strongest tactic in the game, because we can now come back and 1 or 2 at a time, sometimes a few more, deal with all these enemies. Alright, so that's a lot of them. Try and crit one, kill it. Well, not really a crit in that case, but yep, there we go. Keep investing in dex. Use the unstable from water to deal lots of damage. This guy's a merchant, very useful. So the most valuable items from merchants is not the equipment, but the scrolls and the potions, because they're very cheap compared to this expensive equipment, and they do so much. So generally I buy all the scrolls and the potions. And we're going to drink those potions for max HP as soon as we're maxed ourselves. Okay. We're now in the Dark Temple. So there's a bunch of different zones for each kind of tier. So previously, Upper Dungeon is the only tier 1 zone. Then tier 2 can be the Swamp, which we did, Sunless Desert, or Undergrove. Tier 3, which is where we are now, can either be Dark Temple or Orc Fortress, and Tier 4 is always the same, Vault of Yenda. There's also some side dungeons, we'll talk about them when we get there. So here's how we're going to manipulate this guy. We're going to run away from that, and he's going to step through these shrooms, taking additional damage. Then we step back, so he's in line with these shrooms. We didn't even need it, but the power shot would have knocked him back and guaranteed a kill. This item is really good. I think it's actually better than the 4 HP we're getting from that. What it does is it shows us all the enemy locations on the minimap. If you remember to check, it's really strong. Something else I should talk about is, while fire shrooms are super good, fire pots deal more damage, but they're way more dangerous. One of the greatest killers of players in this game is accidentally hitting a fire pot and taking ridiculous damage. You see they deal 34 damage and we only have 38 HP. Get those unaware crits. So this is where they can be useful. It took out that mage for us. What we're going to do is run away here, get our cooldowns back, kite a little, and use the unstable from the water to deal lots of damage. Come over here to these shrooms, back in the water, and you can just control exactly where the enemies go with a bit of experience. See how useful this is? We can see there's one enemy here, so we can come around here and power shot it. And we know there's nothing going to be around this corner, so we're safe to explore a little bit. Take that guy out. We're going to go take out this lone enemy up here. There's the stairs to the next level. 3 enchantment scrolls, nothing I want to enchant. Let's use these shrooms. Easy kills. Okay, so we can see here, this is going to be an ambush wall. Probably. Yep, there we go. They summoned this battlesphere, which you can see there what they can do. So these have a range of 2.5. Now, what this doesn't show you on the side here is it doesn't show you the range or the cooldown of abilities. That's something you just have to learn. I just know they have a range of 2.5, so if I step here, I'm safe. There's another one. So let's just go back here. Alright. There is generally no way to detect ambush rooms without a helmet telepathy before you see them. Just gonna take a bit of damage here. That's fine. Take out the range damage dealers first, then deal with the melee is generally the best way to go about it. Just gonna take evasive next. We now have 44% evasion, which means 44% of all attacks just straight up miss us, which is a little bit broken. Oh, we can see there's one more enemy over here. Another way to move is by clicking on the minimap. It can be useful. And you'll notice something, there are 2 sets of stairs. On the 2nd and 4th floor of the tier 3 zone, there will be something called a side dungeon, which in this case is ice caves. And you must complete, in general, 1 side dungeon to get to Vault of Yenda. I prefer doing the 2nd side dungeon, so we'll just leave that. I'm also going to use these on my bow. Why not? It's quite a big increase in damage, will be rather effective. So this guy is a priest, he has heal, haste and smite, so generally we want to take out priests first, then you want to take out range damage dealers and then the melee. In this case we're going to kite this way, use some speed points. Okay, we can't hit that guy, so I guess we take these guys out first. So this is a kind of preset floor, at least this area here is a big vault. These 4 are going to be archers on either side, 2 arcane archers and a captain archer, whatever he's called. That's just something you can pick up, so you know when you see this, there's going to be a whole bunch of archers and you don't go in unprepared. I'm going to wait for our cooldown to come back. Do I have to explain cooldowns? Hopefully not. Use the ability, 5 turns, you can use it again. This guy here is quite interesting. As you can see, he's reflective, which means he will bounce back 75% of projectiles shot at him, which makes it quite tricky for an archer to kill him, so we'll just leave him alone. Found the stairs, we're going to keep exploring, find some more stuff, get rid of the dangerous fire pots. Okay, we'll use that. Okay. We did pull him, that's fine. Where am I going to kill him? Okay, I'm going to take him out here. We do have a melee weapon, and we have this, and we have this, which is how we're going to take him out. Stay next to him so we can't use his ability. And we get some nice armor. This is another vault, and it's always on 4-3. What it has is a Tomb of Knowledge and a librarian who sells talent points for 75 or talents for 75 gold each. I would highly recommend getting Second Wind if you have the money for it. Whatever, let's just get Strafe. Okay, this guy has Confusion. Very dangerous skill because it stops you from being able to control your character how you want. So you want to make them a priority. Make killing them a priority. That was an enchantment table. +1 to the crystal armor. Got even stronger. Okay, so with these guys, get them through some shrooms. And if we step here, he's going to step there. So the way it works is they take the most direct path to you. And for him, this cell here is going to be closer to us when we're there than this cell. As long as he can still get through the door in the minimum number of turns, they will match your movement vertically and horizontally. Okay, another merchant. We're going to sell that. You could get the blink scroll, but we're going to go back upstairs to the librarian and get Second Wind. What Second Wind does is restores 4 of our speed points as we use that ability, which is incredibly strong. Oh, we should also check if he's got anything else for us. 20 gold, scrolls are the most value. Blink scroll, one of the best scrolls in the game, only 20 gold. Perfect. That was Strafe Attack in action. As we step towards things, we will now shoot them, which is incredibly powerful. You can see here the encumbrance limit. Each item has weight. You can see that on the right, and if you go over the encumbrance limit, it is not good for you, so we cannot put that on. Oh, I should not have stepped forward. That was a misclick. So we can just pop this, get all our speed points back, drink this for the max HP, and we're good to go. I see no need to open the glyph doors as we don't need anything else. We're going to use this unstable terrain to easily kill those guys. I take it back. We are on the 4th floor, and behind this glyph door is the entrance to the side dungeon, so we do need to open it. This is Ironforge. All these enemies have protection, which most enemies do not. What protection does is reduce, just like yours, reduce the amount of damage you deal to them. So it's very important to critical hit these guys to burst through their protection. As such, we're going to kite back to the water over here and use this water to deal critical hits to them. We use this shroom. This will also deal critical hits, knockback, and perfect, we took no damage. This here is a spawner, so it will keep spawning those enemies if we didn't kill it. They all have a limit. I believe it's 3 waves of rats, 3 waves of 3 rats. Alright. Sell this. We'll just get max HP, makes sense. Could have got the blink scroll, but we already have one, and 1 is all we need. Yeah, we don't have enough gold for anything else, that's good. A bunch of different terrain, you'll get used to what it does through experience. And here are the stairs. I'm no longer going to full clear, as we're strong enough to win the game. We just need to go pick up the keys to the Vault of Ginder door. Okay, he did see us. Just maneuvering around these guys, using our speed points. And this guy's quite easy, just watch out for the terrain. And we can see up here there's a bunch of enemies, so we're going to rest. The way you rest a lot, I have it to shift click, and it will rest for 10 turns each time we do it. Unfortunately in IF, the way these conveyor belts work, resting is very slow. In anywhere else in the dungeon, if you just shift click, it would rest way quicker. Take out the ranged ones first. That guy's probably the biggest threat. We're gonna go here so this guy can't see us. And there we go. Keep stacking that dex and take Storm Shot as soon as you can. Alright, let's go down again. I messed it up. So Storm Shot does this. It's 3 arrows across for like 5 turns, and you can move during it, which is incredibly powerful. Lava is also unstable terrain, and you also take damage if you spend a turn in it. Okay, so we can see there's a large amount of enemies there and there. I see no need to fight them. Just go down the stairs. Okay, turrets, enemies that can't move but generally have quite long range and are annoying to deal with, so we'll just go the other way. We want to kill this guy in one hit. Oops. Took a bit of damage there, but that's fine. We are not on unstable terrain, and he is. Easy crits. I want him to go on the unstable terrain. There we go. Oh, something to know about firewalls is it blocks arrows, so you've always got to be careful of that. And there's the stairs. Alright, so this boss, there are a number of ways to cheese this boss, the easiest being a blink scroll. With enough speed points you can just travel around the outside here, but with a blink scroll you can just run straight past, blink over this gate, and yeah, you don't need to fight that boss. I prefer reflection over the increased strength, I think. What is it? Fire protection, 30% reflection or 9 HP. I'll take the reflection. Alright, and now we just travel back the way we came. Stack that dex. Doesn't know how to get to the stairs. Fair enough. Sell our extra stuff. Why not? Use this to get even more reflection, even more armor. And now we go win the game. You need 2 of these runes to open the gate, so that's why we went and got it. With pits, you can jump into a pit to go straight to the next floor. You take half your HP and damage. Generally not advised unless you know what you're doing. So this specific floor is the 6th floor. It has a special feature of every so often a portal will appear. You'll see if I rest. One of those will appear, which can be quite annoying. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to go... These explode every 3 turns, or 3 turns after they're cast. I'm going to show you a really cheap way to take out this boss. Or anything really. So, Power Shot has knockback, pits instant kill anything that goes in the pit. So that's how you handle that boss. Cool. In this specific case, you actually didn't need the 2 runes to open the gate, as you can jump in the pit, but generally you will need 2 runes to go to Vault of Yenda. I feel like there's so much that I haven't talked about. This here is a switch. It's always good to hit switches. There's never anything that bad that can happen. So always use switches as you find them. Okay, we'll just go a different way. Now, more of those guys. You can kill them. There's just no need. Just looking for the stairs. Okay, these guys are reflective, so we don't like that. We're gonna go like this, we'll take them with us, and leave this guy behind. believe this has parry, which makes it an optimal melee weapon, as now we have 20% parry for free. Alright. Could jump in any of these pits at any stage. Oh, we don't have many movement points. Let's use this. Oh, power shot was on cooldown for one turn. Ah, it's so many of them. That's annoying. Now we're going to take a bunch of damage. Focus them down one at a time. Oh, blink wand, 3 blinks. Probably best item in the game in my opinion. And we're going to rest. Shift click. Oh, random enemy. Shift click on yourself. And if we weren't hungry, yeah, we should just eat as well. Alright. And you see why Storm Shot is so good. Let's just leave all that behind. Okay, so this floor, I'm going to show you how I cheese it. There's always a whole bunch of enemies here, but if they don't see you, then it does not matter. So you blink and speed point out of there, come up here and rest. As you'll see, there's a whole bunch of roaming enemies. Just deal with them as they come. Quite easy when there's only 1 or 2 of them at a time. Okay. Take the dex, second wind, whatever, doesn't matter. So where you choose this, you open this door, 2 speed points in, 2 speed points out. There's the goblet, we go straight to the goblet, you can blink there, you can use your fear scroll, flash freeze, whatever you need to. Drink this, get all your speed points back. So, plenty of ways that you can get to this goblet without having to fight most of the enemies on this floor. I have no idea how good that's going to be as a guide. I just kind of played a game, talked about a bunch of stuff, probably missed a million useful facts. If you found this useful, leave a comment. If you want to know more, specific class, race, combo, just some things I've missed talking about, more about how to manipulate the enemy AI, more about stealth, or in general just how I play, just leave a comment and maybe I'll do another one. See you next time.